Hey guys, it's Midnight Simmer, and for the next few weeks, I'm going to do something completely different than you guys are used to seeing me upload on this channel. Series creation, The Sims 3, and Winx Club are my special interests, and my dream is to create animated series for a living and eventually rewrite the Winx Club into a young adult anime-inspired series, and just something that it really deserves to be. And I've been rewriting it ever since I was like 12, so it's really is like a lifelong dream, and I've really been wanting to do this and upload this video, and I didn't know how you guys were gonna feel about it, and I've decided that I just don't care. It's my channel, I do what I want. Anyways, I knew Fate was in production all the way back to December 2018, and it was only just a rumor. And basically, for months after that, I was Googling Winx live action for months, every single day. And when the casting came out, I was devastated. And when the trailer came out, I felt like my soul was crushed, basically. And when the full series came out, I was just so upset that I cried several times throughout watching it. And it just got renewed for season 2, and I don't even know if I'm going to watch it at this point. But personally, I'm not going to be discussing Fate and everything that Fate did wrong, but I will be putting all my favorite videos on it in the description box. But one thing that I do want to address or say is that Eugenio Straffi has been really warming up to whitewashing his characters over the years, and it's really not okay. It's really uncomfortable and just gross. Flora's name wasn't changed to Tara until after the actress was casted, and I remember a little bit of backlash happening right away, before the trailer even came out in the first place. And I don't know. I don't know why casters are putting all these amazing actresses with potential up for parts that are going to give that actress hate, but I just wish it would stop. There was no reason for Flora to be changed, and this whole casting scenario was just gross, and I hate it, and it doesn't make sense to me. Moving on. I will be making each Winx girl into Sims, and in later videos I will be including illustrations of the art style I had in mind for the series, as well as a more realistic approach as to what each girl is going to look like in the animated series. Because these Sims, they're so detailed and they don't look exactly as I pictured them, but some of them do come very, very close. And since Bloom is the main character, she's going to be the first that I do, and she's going to pretty much be taking over the rest of this video. Visually, I've always pictured Bloom to look very sweet. She's very approachable, she's very bubbly, and she's supposed to be like a golden retriever type of girl, you know? Like, there's like the whole golden retriever boy, and Sky is a golden retriever boy, let's be honest, and he still is going to be, but Bloom's going to be the female equivalent to that, but, you know, a redhead, duh. But she kind of holds herself in a way that's really quirky, and that causes her to not have a whole lot of friends at school. One thing that I wish I could have found for custom content was very long, like, knee-length hair that you could not tell if it was just wavy or if it was super messy, and that's why it looks wavy. I'll try to find like the inspiration photos that I had. Can't guarantee it, but I'm going to try and get the photos up there. So moving on to her personality, for the basics, Bloom is a Sagittarius. Her favorite color is turquoise. She's obsessed with fairies and has been ever since she was a kid. And she's a very, very, very talented artist. Bloom's the average girl next door, and her fashion sense really hints towards the 1970s. And to be honest, all of Earth, and especially Gardenia, hints towards the 1970s. And that was done just to make all of the Magic Dimensions technology look that much more advanced and out of this world and alien feeling. Bloom's adoptive parents are basically the same, but we actually see more of them, and they have significant arcs. They're actually fleshed out characters instead of just popping up every couple seasons to remind the people that Bloom's real parents aren't the ones that she was raised by. Mike is extremely overprotective, and he has an issue with babying Bloom a little bit. And since Bloom is going to be 18 and picking out colleges or universities, and she chooses to go to Althea, we get to see a little bit of tension between Mike and Bloom in the beginning of the series, and then seeing Mike slowly accept that Bloom isn't a child anymore. Also, Vanessa will be making deals with the scam artist from season 2 of the original series, but this will be starting in the very first episode, and we're going to see how that goes wrong for Vanessa, rather than having it just be one episode to make everything feel lighthearted. Mike and Vanessa are also going to be a lot more hesitant and worrisome about Bloom wanting to find her birth parents Oratel and Miriam. Bloom will be announcing that she wants to go off and find her real parents to end off season 1, and actually spends until season 6 looking for them. This search is basically just the basics of the main plot until Bloom uncovers the truth about them and her family lineage in season 6, and it's actually way more than she can handle, which sets the tone for a refreshing, non-Bloom-centered season 7. Bloom kind of goes into shock because of the spoiler that I'm not yet going to reveal, and she actually quits the Winx Club for almost all of season 7 because of it. She struggles with depression, and we hit a really big bump in the road for her relationship with Sky, which I will get back to in just a second. Since Bloom quits the Winx Club, she is put on the metaphorical back burner, while the rest of the Winx push on to do what they have to do to live their lives and, save the universe as they have to do every single season. But the process of saving the universe is slowed a little bit because they don't have Bloom, and we actually get to see more of the home life and casual life for each girl post Althea, because yes, they graduate in season 3 like they're supposed to. Now, going back to Sky, Bloom and Sky basically have the same relationship as the original. There's drama every few episodes, but it always gets resolved. But I actually include one time where the issue doesn't get resolved and they break up. But after a while, they tend to realize that the very few real negatives of their relationship that they had weren't actually their fault. They were Sky's parents' fault. And they realize that they really need each other, and their relationship is a lot more healthier feeling and realistic feeling than in the original. Every single fairy in the Magic Dimension has traits to remind the audience that while they look very human, they're not. They're fairies. Bloom's little traits are that she's fireproof, but she was born with some sort of rare disease that makes her extremely susceptible to injuries because she holds the power of the dragon flame, or as I will be calling it throughout my series, the flame of life, she heals very quickly. Like, she shatters her leg in episode 3 and it's healed by mid-episode 4. So we constantly see Bloom jumping in and out of casts, and we never see her bruised up or beat up from fights for very long. And once Bloom starts to learn and harness her power and eventually master it, we see her actually winding up in these casts and bandages much less as the series goes on, and because eventually she will be powerful enough to prevent herself from being extremely injured or injured at all in the first place. Early season Blue is supposed to be very self-contradictory. Most of her magic is healing magic, but she's always in some sort of injury. It feels like every other episode she's got a cast on, or she's got a black eye, or she's got a scratch, or stitches from fights that they have, or just her being clumsy. Bloom is very compassionate, but she also kind of has an issue with making everything about her. All the Winx have their own issues, like Stella's parents get divorced in the series, and we actually see this affect Stella. And Muse's mother dies a lot closer to the start of the series than in the original, and so we actually see Muse going through these stages of grief, and Bloom, instead of seeing and respecting that other people have their own problems, she kind of she doesn't do it on purpose, but she does kind of make everything about her. And that's one thing that was very badly written in the original, and I would have loved to see, because I struggle with that issue myself, and I would like to see characters be able to resolve it. There is a plot point, actually, between Bloom and Musa, where they're both very confused, because in season 1, Daphne is supposed to be dead, but she's able to communicate with Bloom in her dreams. And Musa gets a little bit bitter and jealous over that, because she doesn't understand why she can't communicate with her mother, who just died. But of course, Daphne isn't actually dead, and that whole plot is actually resolved in a much more satisfying way, and not just bringing Daphne back to life and changing the plot because the writers ran out of ideas for the original. For this next part, I was going to tell you the storyboard for Season 1, Episode 1, but this video seems kind of long, and I have way more to talk about. Like, we only got through Bloom in this video, and if you guys actually want me to go through every single episode, let me know, because I have no issues with making more videos on this. This is a lot of information, and if you stayed this long, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't enjoy, comment why. I'm really open to criticism for how everything's written, and I would really love to hear some feedback. And if you have something that you would like to hear in the next video, like a question or anything like that, comment that as well. I have tons of information and lore, and I can guarantee that you guys can't ask me a question I don't have an answer for yet. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video.